Good morning everyone. In previous video lecture we have observed that if L is a finite extension of K, then order of Galois group GL by K is less than or equal to degree of L over K. In this video lecture we will prove that if L be a field and G be a finite subgroup of automorphism group of L and K is a fixed field of G, then order of this group is same as the degree of L over fixed field K. So to prove this, we assume that G contains n elements because G is finite. Suppose that G is the set containing sigma 1, sigma 2, sigma n. Here note that all these elements are distinct. Also remember the definition of fixed field. By definition of fixed field, it will be fixed by every element of G. And so for every sigma 1, sigma 2 and so on sigma n, so we may write this. Okay, so from this just observe that every element of K is fixed by every sigma I. It means sigma I, every sigma I fixes K, that is sigma I belongs to GL by K. Note that elements of G are automorphisms. So each sigma I are automorphisms, and from this we observe that elements of K are fixed, that is these are K automorphisms. So what have we observed here? We have observed that every sigma I belongs to G also belongs to Galois group of L over K. That is, G is a subset of this. And so its order will be less than or equal to this. But in previous theorem, we observed that order of Galois group is always less than or equal to degree of L over K. So we just combine these two results. We have order of G will be less than or equal to degree of L over K. Now, here our aim is to prove that this is same as this. So, we have to prove that this is not less than this. So, we assume that suppose that this is less than this. Then, since G contains n elements, then n will be less than degree of Lk. But remember that degree of Lk is the dimension of vector space L over K. It means dimension of vector space L over K will be greater than or equal to n plus 1 because it is greater than n, so it will be greater than or equal to n plus 1. Okay, so since dimension of this is greater than or equal to n plus 1, it means its basis contains contains elements greater than or equal to n plus 1, and also note that basis is a linearly independent set. So we just this tells us that there exists a finite subset containing n plus 1 elements which will be linearly independent, because if every subset containing n plus 1 elements will be dependent, then dimension of this vector space will be less than n plus 1, which contradicts this fact. So we have a finite subset containing n plus 1 elements which will be linearly independent. Okay. Now we consider the vector space Ln over L. Also consider its n plus 1 elements C1, C2, Cn plus 1, which are given by sigma 1 xi, sigma 2 xi, sigma n xi. Okay, for each I is equal to 1 to n plus 1. Observe that consider this set. Observe that this set contains n plus 1 elements of L, whereas dimension of Ln is n. It means this set contains more elements than the dimension of Ln. It means this set will be linearly dependent. So without loss of generality, we assume that this set is linearly dependent and is minimal. What is the meaning of minimal? It means no proper subset of T is linearly dependent. Okay. In other words, we can also say that any subset containing elements less than m will be linearly independent. So again we come to the linear dependence of T, since T is linearly dependent. So by definition of linearly dependent set, there exists scalars a1, a2, am in L, not all 0. This is the definition of linear dependence. So just remember this. By linear dependence, there exist scalars a1, a2, am in L, not all 0, such that linear combination is 0. Here 0 of Ln is n tuple, whose each place is 0. Note that no AIs are 0, because if any one of them is 0, then we get a proper subset of T which will be linearly dependent, which contradicts the minimality of T. So you just know that if T is minimal, then combination will be 0 where each AI are non-zero. Okay, each AI are non-zero. Now putting the value of C1, C2, Cm from this and solving them, we have this. So try to observe this. Now by equality of tuples, each components will be 0. Here we write just jth component. Note that first component, in first component summation ai sigma 1 xi I from 1 to m. In second component summation ai sigma 2 xi from 1 to m. So in jth component it will be summation ai sigma j xi I runs from 1 to m. So we just write jth element and explore this summation. So we have a1 sigma jx1 plus a2 sigma jx2 plus dot dot am sigma jxm is equal to 0 for all j is equal to 1 to m. Now here our trick is we divide both sides by a1. Note that a1 is non-zero. So this will be, after dividing both sides by a1, we have this. Now substitute bi is equal to ai upon a1 for each I is equal to 2, 3m. It means it will be b2, next will be b3, dot dot dot, it will be bm. So putting this value, we have this expression. We use this equation in later. So remember this equation. Okay. Now suppose that sigma be any element, arbitrary element of G. Now apply this sigma on both sides and note that sigma of 0 will be 0, so right side will be 0, and also sigma is automorphism of field L, so it preserves addition and multiplication, and so when we apply sigma on this, we have sigma of this, sigma of this. Here sigma distributes on each component of the expression. Note that sigma is arbitrary. Substitute that sigma j is equal to sigma k. Sigma j is equal to sigma k. So we have this expression 1.5.16 will become sigma k x1 plus sigma of b2 sigma k x2 plus dot dot sigma bm sigma k xm is equal to 0. for each k, because j runs from 1 to n. And so this suggests that since uh, it holds for all k equal to 1 to n, so we may rewrite this as the expression just by replacing k by j. So replace k by j, we have this. Since k runs from 1 to n, so the j also runs from 1 to n. Now note that compare this equation by equation 1.5.15. Now note that if we subtract 1 point, here is a mistake. Here is a mistake. Here will be equation 1.5.18. So we subtract this equation from this equation. What we have? We have P2 minus sigma B2, sigma JBX2 plus B3 minus sigma B3, sigma JX3 plus Bm minus sigma Bm, sigma JXM will be 0 for all j. Note that just putting these values in this combination. So consider this combination and substituting the value of C2, C3, C4, Cm and using this result, we have this will be 0. So here we skip to 2 steps. Just you may observe that this will be 0 by substituting the value of C2, C3, Cm and then using this equation. Note that T is minimal. It means no subset of this is linearly dependent. So since this is a linear combination in C2, C3, Cm, which is a subset of T and T is minimal, so this suggests that C2, C3, Cm will be linearly independent. So again, by definition of linear independence, since this combination is 0, therefore each coefficient will be 0. So we have each coefficient will be 0, that is we get sigma of Bi is equal to Bi. So we now use this result. Since sigma is an arbitrary element of G, so it holds for every element of G, that is sigma j Bi is equal to Bi for every sigma j belongs to G. Okay. So now we consider this expression and applying sigma j and using the property of automorphism. We have sigma j of this can be expressed as sigma j this plus sigma j b2, sigma j of x2 plus sigma j b3 into sigma j x3 plus sigma j bm plus sigma j xm. But note that sigma j b2 is equal to b2, sigma j b2 b3 is equal to b3 and so on. So substituting this value, we have sigma j x1 plus b2 sigma j x2 plus sigma bm sigma j xn. But by this equation, observe that here we use equation 1.5.15, which says that sigma j x1 plus b2 sigma j x2 plus this is 0. So this expression will be 0. And note that this holds for all j. Also, since sigma j is automorphism, so sigma j is 1 1. So if image of this is 0, so this will be 0. So we have this is 0. This suggests that note that no bi is 0 because no ai is 0. So this shows that This shows that x1, x2,